Have you ever noticed a pattern in your life that seems to be repeating and it's incredibly frustrating for you? Do you ever feel like when you try to achieve something super important, something gets in your way and you can't stop it? Or do you ever just feel that life has an emptiness to it? Like you feel like it should be more beautiful, but you can't feel that it is. Well, at different times in my life, I have felt all of those things, and they became and were so intense that I finally decided that I had to dedicate my life to finding answers to those questions. I'm Sheila Winger. This is Shift is Happening. And in this community, in this relationship, I want to help you answer those questions for yourself as quickly, effectively, and long lastingly as is humanly possible. How did I get here? Well, I felt the emptiness from the time I was 3 years old. The emptiness for me was like I just maybe didn't belong here, that other people seemed to find joy in things that I couldn't quite find joy in. I also had a core wound, which made me feel that I could give everything to it and it wouldn't be enough. That led me to study human behavior in an intensely passionate way that most people don't. So by the time I was 3, 4, 5, I was studying my family, finding out what's going on here. How can this become better? What can I do? And that led me on a lifelong journey of studying psychology, human behavior, and relationships. It also put me on a spiritual quest because there are people who say it's possible to feel long-lasting, consistent peace and joy here. And I knew I didn't have that. So I had to study everything they said and apply it to myself to see if I could prove it to be true. It was the best scientific experiment I could ever think to do on my own life, and I did that. And as a teacher, I learned to read a room of 30 different people with all kinds of different needs and hone the skills of being able to meet all of those needs in an instant, to get them on board and to create a path for them all to get to the same understanding. All of those skills conglomerated about 3 years ago, and I had some real distinct clarity. I also felt like a new person. It actually did change me from the inside out. But what I noticed is that we do have the ability to heal those patterns, those feelings, those frustrations, and those things that constantly get in our way. And we have the ability to do it way faster than most people think of. How did I come to that discovery? When I was studying marriage and family therapy and had to study hypnosis as part of that program, it deeply intrigued me, and I thought this might be a very underrated, underutilized therapy. It led me to try it on myself and then to add that to my credential. That's when things really began to culminate. And after working with people, I found that I could help eradicate these terrible feelings and these limiting patterns rapidly. It actually blew my mind. And what I found was that if we could hone in on the belief that is operating inside of them, we could get to the healing a lot faster and change the entire way they're feeling from the inside out. That's what I want to talk to you about today. So, one thing that a lot of people walk around feeling is that there's something wrong with them. That leads them to avoid certain feelings they don't want to feel because it's too scary to face that fear that something might be fundamentally wrong with us. What I found in my office, and after all these years of practice in all these ways, is I absolutely don't believe there's anything wrong with you. I don't think there's anything wrong with us. What happens is when we are little, we are forced to believe something that is not true. When we have an undeveloped brain and we are in an environment that is less than optimal, slightly dysfunctional, fully dysfunctional, or traumatic, that world that we live in, that environment that we live in, we believe that is the world, and the role we have to play, the way we have to be in that environment is how we are in this world. We have no choice but to believe that because our brain can't make sense of it. It's too young. That gets laid down, and we begin our lives with the belief from that point forward that something's wrong with us, that we have to always watch so that danger doesn't occur. We have to stay watchful and mindful and vigilant, or that we have to be the peacemaker in the world, in the family, or that we'll never get our needs met, that we live in a world that will not meet our needs. Now, those beliefs aren't true, but that environment gave us no choice but to believe them. That becomes the glasses through which we filter reality. That is why we can feel like there's an ongoing pattern. Because when we believe that, we're looking for it. And by looking for it, it's affecting our way of being, which is creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'll give you an example. Let's take a little girl whose dad is unfaithful to her mom. She learns that dad leaves and mom is sad. She learns that men aren't trustworthy, and then she starts dating as a teenager. Because of the belief that men aren't trustworthy, she's mean. She's mean because she wants to find out, will you stick around or are you going to leave too? It's partly her anger and it's partly her challenge to see if he will stay. Well, if someone is being treated that way, they will leave. And she is creating the pattern herself. She may wonder, why can't I make a relationship work? Why does nobody stay? The only reason that's happening is because of a belief she had no choice but to believe that was never fundamentally true. It was only true in the circumstances she had no choice but to adjust to when she was little. This is true for all of us. Every client that comes in has a belief that is running the show in their lives. And I have learned through honing the tools of our consciousness that unfortunately we do not learn in school. On the conscious level and on the subconscious level, we can eradicate that belief. If we do it only on the conscious level, we can still do it. It takes a little bit longer. But if we also utilize the power of hypnotherapy to access into the belief itself and heal it at the source, that is where it happens really very rapidly. And with all of my clients, I do both. We work on the conscious level and we hone the tools of their thinking, of their feelings, of how to work all of those together, how to use those in their favor rather than against them. And also we use hypnotherapy to go straight down to the source of that belief, heal it, eradicate it, and erase it. This miraculous change that I keep seeing has moved me to want to do more. And that is why I'm here. I can do a great deal of good, one client at a time in my office. But all of these principles that we didn't learn in school, we need to learn those now. And it can change everything when we do. So I started to imagine a world where all of these human beings who are hurting or feeling small or feeling ineffective start to know that that's no longer true. Start to believe that they absolutely have the innate capacity to make their own dreams come true. That is the world I want to help create because I believe it takes us to places we've never experienced before. Let me give you an example. For millennia, there have been battles, wars, conflicts, all because people are trying to get what they want over what the other country, person, community wants. We can move into a level of consciousness where everything we do is searching for the greater good and believing that it exists. Everything can change. And we can do it one person at a time. My point of being here today is to get these tools of your own consciousness that are innately inside of you working for you. I fully believe that if you find that that's true of yourself, you'll fall in love with yourself. And I also believe that when we believe that we are good, we love what we are, it naturally, automatically spreads to our family, our community, our friends, and can reach far in this world. If you're tired of feeling like life is gray and empty, if you're tired of feeling like there's something always in your way, or if you feel there's some childhood trauma that's still affecting you after many years, please, I'd love to be the person to help you through that. I know that I can do it quickly, effectively, in a way that lasts. I'm Sheila Winger. This is Shift is Happening. I would love it if you would like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that we can continue on this journey together.